You made dramatic decisions after that sort of light bulb moment that you had over the course of a year. You were working on this sort of manifesto. You made huge changes. You signed up to be profit neutral for the first year when you were making these kind of seismic shifts. There are people here who don't have their own business, who are not in a position of power where they can make those kind of huge decisions. What can people lower down the pecking order do to change in some way their culture of working?
Well, you know, there's two ways that we can approach this. Part of it I approach when I'm trying to put this into the hands of businesses who will look at this and go, this is going to be better for us as businesses to do this. And interestingly, there are some of the big businesses that are making change around this. So I think we are seeing real shifts that are happening because people are just going to be called out. Businesses are going to be called out if they don't. But what I always say to particularly young women and young men going into businesses now, start asking questions first of all about the business that you do go into. Asking them, what is flexibility like? How many women do you have on the board? What's the retention like? Do people stay with you? What is the other stuff you do within the business that's more than just about the outcomes? So most of us are grateful if we get offered a job and think that we have to work around the codes and what's come from that business. We often employ people who start asking more of us as an agency. Young women, I say, use your voice. It is the most important thing you do. I spoke to a school yesterday of young women and they put out the microphone, they had questions, they all had their names there, and one couldn't even ask the question, she just sort of shrunk. And I said, this is really important. Even if you don't feel confident, you have to use your voice. And it's time to say when things aren't okay. Now, you don't have to do this on your own. I've done different year groups with 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s that I've talked about in how we can make change happen. The only way you can make change happen is the power of us coming together. So I say find your tribe. If you're unhappy with things that are happening in work, find other women or men who also agree with you and start to influence by pushing upwards and just saying, can we talk about this? Can we talk about this? It's affecting the way we work and we think it could be better and we've got some ideas in order to do that. So it's just not accepting the status quo and really each day thinking about yourself when you get ready to go to work. Am I really truly being true to me? And are there instances that happen throughout the day which shift me and move me away from that? And am I calling it out? Because the only way that you can make change happen is calling out. I can't do that for young women, but I'm saying to you, do it, because it's the only way that it will change. And what will happen is we're seeing this whole new shift of great new businesses changing the way we work. And you will eventually push out the old legacy businesses that are built on linear power. And we will shift it, but we can only do it by all coming together.
So there you go, use your voice. I hope you'll use your voices in just a couple of minutes when we go to questions, but I just wanted to ask you very finally before we move over. Latterly in your career, one of the things that seems to have turned you on, I suppose the most, that comes through in the book, is this notion of giving back. Your charity shop project seemed to turn you on as a person. It seemed to do something to you. As time goes on, how much a part of your career and professional happiness is derived from giving?
I think, you know, you can give in so many ways. I mean, I think it doesn't mean you can't make money by giving.
Yeah.
You know, we all want to have a living. It's how you do it. So my charity shops, I did Mary Queen of Shops, you know, and most of my shops, when I finished doing them, I left and didn't contact again because it's so emotional. You go in and you've got a month really to work with a failing business. And it's a very vulnerable time for people to actually write into a TV company and say, come and film me. I'm not making money. I'm pretty shit. That's tough.
Yeah.
That is really tough. So you have to go in and always, my business was about changing the people. It was never about what the outcome was. It was never about, oh, you need 5 more frocks over there and let's put a nice bit of paint on the wall. If you change them to believe they can change, that all comes, and the profit comes from that. So that was always the most central. When I did Mary Queen of Charity Shops, I turned up and there were just these, the average age of the shop I think was 82, the women that were in it. There was this incredible sense of duty and giving back that I had lost. That was my parents' and grandparents' generation, where you gave something back. And I'd felt my generation, certainly the generation who made money in the 80s and 90s, what were we doing? But they also had this, they didn't give a monkeys about me at all. I turn up and I go, and there was these two old birds called the toy twins, and people would dump toys outside the shop, and they'd come in, they'd get their little gun out and put the price on it. It'd be a doll with no head. They put 20p on, and I'd say, it's got no head. They go, nevertheless, someone's given it, dear. And that's kind, and you'd like, God, this is just terrible. And I'd say, could someone dress the window? And so we go, dress it yourself. They didn't care. And I just had the best time because it was just, they were there not to be on camera, they were there because they had a sense of giving back. And I left, and I remember the last day we opened the shop up and they were all lined up in their little snow boots. It was a terrible winter. Brenda, the toy twins, they came on the bus, you know, even we said, well, send the car, and I'll get the bus at 11:05, I'll be there at 11:22. And then I hand over with Mavis. And I just literally thought, I can't leave them. I can't leave this. There's something so good about this.
Yeah.
This is the new sustainability novel.
Yeah.
This is the new upcycling. This is what charity shops could be. And wow, we could make some serious money. So I went to Save the Children and said, well, you're stuck with me. I'll do this on other stores. And we've opened up 27 Mary's Living and Giving shops now and raised 15 million.
Amazing.
For Save the Children, which has been, yeah. And what's happened on the back of that is young people are coming into this, and absolutely, I think the next generation is having this real sense of giving back and looking at the world and thinking about what's my part to it. But I think it doesn't always have to be thus. Whatever you do, if you think this in any relationship, whatever it is, how is this equal and how are we both benefiting from this?
Yes, because it's not an entirely selfless act. It makes you feel good.
It makes you feel fantastic.